person is handcuffed and is present in front of the empress and the ministers. He was in a bad shape, blood stains were everywhere on his clothes. He said to the empress that the poison in my body must be given by you. It must be in the wine glass that I drank yesterday. Tell me why had you done that? The empress kept her silence for a while and taken out his sword and asked, you are a great person and had made many achievements. Now as an empress I should reward you. That person started smiling and said that this sword was originally found by me and I gave it to you as a gift. I didn't think this sword would one day pointed at me. Now on his last breath he memorized his past memories when the empress was a child and he always had taken care of her. He always had risked his life to make her safe. After remembering this he said to the empress that I am ashamed of you. On reply she said, I'll bury you in the imperial holy place and will offer sacrifice to you every year. And she stabbed her sword in his heart. Every minister was shocked and started crying on his death, but on his last breath he performed a secret technique, the scripture of reincarnation. In next scene Mr. Huo is sitting in the carriage and thinking that after traveling through time and becoming the villain prince in novel I seized all the opportunities of male protagonist in order to change his inevitable fate. I carefully cultivated the heroine Lu Ruoxue to establish a new dynasty and make her the emperor. I thought that now I can live a peaceful life, but I could not change my fate as a cannon fodder. But now everything has changed. I will not repeat the same mistakes. Suddenly the servant came and asked for Mr. Huo orders. He said that it takes half an hour to get to the child care. Mr. Huo thought that child care is the place where I first met Lu Ruoxue. It turned out that it's the time when I was going to adopt a child. After a deep thought he said, I am fine, keep going. Servant said, okay Lord Marquis. In next scene Mr. is an orphanage where many children are wearing clothes because Mr. Huo is coming to pick a girl among these girls. In a corner Lu Ruoxue was also present and thinking how I came back into the past. And now the scene is shifted back into the past when after Mr. Huo died the empress is sitting on his throne, and his ministers were suggesting her that the palace has been attacked by the coalition forces. For your own safety it is better to evacuate her temporarily. Another minister said, this is right, as long as you are alive our kingdom will never fall. During their conversation the door broke down and a woman entered the castle. The ministers raised their sword against her, but she killed both of them in an instant. Her name was Morning Sun. She said to Empress that, do you remember me? I know the time when you was taken away by Mr. Huo from the child care and became the empress, but I had to compete with the wild dogs for the food by the you. Do you even know why you fail? Empress said no. Then Morning Sun said, it's because you killed Mr. Huo, and she stabbed her sword and killed her the same way as Mr. Huo was killed. Morning Sun said, and Mr. Huo was alive. It was impossible for me to even enter the great Yan dynasty, and you killed him. Good for me. On the last breath of Empress she thought that if only I had a last chance I could have done everything better, and then she died. But now Empress is also reincarnated into the past. She was sitting in a shock. Then a boy came to her and asked whether she is okay or not. She rudely answered, I am okay. Then the boy asked that you should hurry up and put on new clothes because the noble person is coming to take one of us with him. After hearing that she lost in her thoughts that the noble person is coming to pick one of us, this means that it's the time when Mr. Huo visited the orphanage. In my previous life I was the chosen one. It's not that late yet. I will again be chosen by him and do better than before. Suddenly a person came and asked everyone gather into the front yard. Mr. Huo be chosen by him and do better than before. Suddenly a person came and asked everyone gather into the front yard. Mr. Huo is coming. After a while every children were present in the front yard. Then a skinny girl with long white hairs is shown. Her name was Chao Yang. A person was scolding her that you should not be here, go back to the backyard, you are embarrassing our orphanage. There the girl replied that I will sit in the corner and will not disturb anyone. I also want to meet the noble person. In next scene Mr. Huo reached the orphanage and all childrens were in front of her. The orphanage owner was asking him that these are the childrens that we had selected, whether used as a slave or as a warrior. They are good. One of from them have they best bones, it could become a great warrior. And he pointed her finger towards Lu Ruoxue. He said that he price is higher for her. Mr. Huo replied, money is not the problem, but he was thinking in mind that in this life I have nothing to do with you. Then he saw the same skinny girl sitting in the corner. He asked, who is she? Then owner said she is just a worthless person, and he shouted, Morning Sun, get out of here. After hearing her name Mr. Huo remembered that she is the Morning Sun who was the great thread to the empire. What would be the story if I take her with me? Then Morning Sun came running and grabbed Mr. Huo and asked him to take her along. She said, I am willing to do anything please chose me, but the owner grabbed her hairs and asked to get off, but Mr. Hua stopped him and said to Morning Sun that are you really willing to do anything I will ask you to do. She said yes, as long as you will take me with you I will do anything. Now Lu Ruoxue is shown, who is standing in a shock and thought that this should not be the story. This is not how the past was. I was the chosen one. What is going on there? The owner was also shocked on Mr. Hua's decision because he had selected the Empress for Mr. Hua. When Mr. Hua was leaving, owner said, "Sir, are you sure you don't want any other child? There are many with extraordinary bodies. You can also take some other childs." But Mr. Hua said that now I should least tend to you for my own decision. After hearing this, owner became scared and started apologizing to Mr. Hua, but Lu Ruoxue came running and grabbed Mr. Hua and asked to take her with him. The owner shouted one after another, "What are you girls doing? Mr. Hua is out of your range." But Mr. Hua asked him to stop and stared at Lu Ruoxue, and she also stared, smiling, but Mr. Hua pushed her back and said, "I am only taking one." Then owner said in anger that it costs 3,000 low-grade spirit stones or 300 medium-grade spirit stone. Mr. Hua said, "What if I will not pay?" Owner said that it will not be so easy for Mr. Hua to get out of here, and he asked his guard to attack Mr. Hua, but Mr. Hua started smiling and said, "Let's see what can you do," and before guards could reach Mr. Hua, his servant came and killed them with bare hands. His name is Mr. Wang. The owner called all of his guards and ran away. Mr. Hua asked Mr. Wang to take care of guards, and he went towards that owner. After confronting Mr. Hua, he started begging for his life and said, "I will give you spirit stones, treasures, and everything you need, just spare my life." When he came to know that Mr. Hua will kill him, he tried to capture the Morning Sun as Mr. Hua is trying to take her, but Mr. Hua cut his hand in an instant and taken out his sword. He asked Morning Sun that no one except me can take your life. Now I am the owner of your life. He asked Morning Sun to kill him. He said, "Don't you want to kill him, or you are disobeying my orders?" She remembered how the owner used to treat him. He always treat her like a shit. He used to beat her. He always bully her and don't even give her proper food. After remembering all that, she had taken out his sword and asked that I will do anything which Mr. Hua will ask me to do, and stabbed the sword in his heart. After that, Mr. Hua asked Morning Sun that from now on follow me and no one will be able to bully you. On their leave, Mr. Wang questioned, "What should we do with other children's?" Mr. Hua said gave them a sum of money and let them have a way of survival, and then they left. At the same time, the Lu Ruoxue is walking and thinking that I must get out of here and find some good place to increase my cultivation. Then in next scene, Mr. Hua and Morning Sun are sitting in a carriage. Mr. Hua asked the girl whether she is hungry or not. Girl said no, but her tummy started growling, and Mr. Hua gave food to her. When she was eating the food, Mr. Hua said, "I already told you, if you want to be with me you have to take binding curse on you. With this your soul will be in my control. Now I want you to tell me. If you don't want it, I will make an exception and let you go." But girl replied, "What do you really think I am? I already had given myself to you. I will obey it." After the conversation, Mr. Hua performed a technique and then asked her to punch him. When she tried to punch, her heart started paining. Mr. Hua said, "With this you will never be able to hurt me." When they reach the residence, Mr. Hua asked to Mr. Wang to take care of Morning Sun and I will come back later after a small work, and he left. In the residence, Mr. Wang came in a room and said to her that this is your room from now on. After seeing such a large room, she said, "It's okay, I can live with horse." But Mr. Wang said, "You are selected by Mr. Hua. How can you live with horses? First you should rest and then maids will make you bath." Then they left. Another scene, a boy is bargaining with a shopkeeper for a jade pendant. Boy was asking, "This is old, I will only give you 20 stones, but shopkeeper was not willing to give it in less than 50 stones. Suddenly Mr. Hua showed Yuo and gave 100 spirit stones for it, and shopkeeper agreed. Boy said, "I had saw it before you," but Mr. Hua left. Then it was revealed that that boy is the story main lead who had a special ability to see objects' power, and that jade was a powerful object. Suddenly a blue ray is showed, and that boy was shocked on seeing it and said, "There is another opportunity. It's like a powerful spirit is born. I can become powerful by it." And he left for that object. After that boy left, Mr. Hua opened that artifact from which he obtained two objects, the Cloud Spirit Lock and the Cloud Spirit Key. Then it is revealed that the Cloud Spirit Realm is the place which is left by the immortals. It is the land of treasures. Countless artifacts are present. Now Mr. Hua started laughing and said that now I will be the one who will control the flow of the story. Now he in next scene, Mr. Hua reached the palace and said to his servants, "Where is Morning Sun?" They said that she is bathing. At the same time, Morning Sun is taking a hot bath and was very excited as she was taking such a luxury bath, first time in her life. Suddenly the door opened and Mr. Huo entered. She was frightened on sudden appearance and hid in water, but Mr. Huo left and apologized to her. After a while she came out and Mr. Huo asked her after meal come with me. Morning Sun was shocked, because there was no food, but suddenly in next room many kinds of foods were present. She became excited and started eating like a hungry lion. After she ate the food, Mr. Huo ordered the servants to cook 3 times a meal in one day. Then they came in a room and Mr. Huo gave her the clout spirit technique and asked her to practice it. He was curious what will happen if such a witch will practice such a powerful technique. Then he left. In next scene, the shopkeeper was cursing himself as he came to know the true value of that jade, but a man approached him and questioned him about that jade. And then the next scene is shown where the novel main lead is fighting with a big python but was being beaten up badly and was about to be killed, but at the last moment Mr. Huo came and attacked him, but he stand Huo and tried to run away. Morning Sun tried to stop him, but he attacked her. Now Mr. Huo came by himself and killed that python in one hit and taken out his demonic pearl. At the same time the boy tried to run away, but Mr. Huo stopped him and asked, "Where are you going in hurry?" The location where he was going was revealed, and then Mr. Huo reached that place. It was a dark cave. Subscribe and like for next episode. Comment if you want any manhwa recap.